Happy Saturday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. I am Anthony Totri, guys. If you're new here, do us a favor. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and leave a 5-star review. And it is time to meet us on Mill because Arizona State gets back on track with a big win over the USC Trojans, 82-67. The Devils get it done, guys. We've got a jam-packed show. We've got Heat Index. We've got closing time. We've got bottle service and so much more. So buckle up because it's time to talk about the Arizona State Sun Devils and what we saw on the hardwood against the Trojans today. First and foremost, my goodness, is it a fun basketball team when they are playing to their potential? It's something I tweeted out as the game was kind of moving forward in that second half. I feel like throughout the season, we had seen Arizona State at times allow teams to work their way back in the game. But due to Arizona State's defense all morning, I guess, afternoon long, there wasn't really a moment in this game that it felt like the USC Trojans were going to mount a comeback, right? From Frankie Collins to Jose Perez to Jamiya Neal, Bryant Selabunge getting in on the action as well. Like, this was an Arizona State team that forced a gazillion and 5 different turnovers, right? The Sun Devils with 12 steals, 6 of those obviously coming from Frankie Collins. He had, I believe, 2 steals within the first couple minutes of the game, along with 4 assists, and it just really felt like he by himself wasn't going to allow Arizona State to lose this one. A big one for the Sun Devils. Obviously, a 15-point victory will eventually have implications if you start to sniff the NCAA tournament, which, again, we'll kind of see and discuss where Arizona State needs to get to if that becomes a conversation here as the show moves on. But for Arizona State to get this win following a loss, a really tough loss at home to a bad UCLA team, obviously everything that happened off the court with Bobby Hurley and the Techs and all of that stuff, you wanted to see Arizona State come out this afternoon and really showcase what they were capable of. And, you know, all season long, the offense has been what it is. But this afternoon, to score 82 points in a conference game alongside having just a phenomenal defensive performance, I think, again, is credit to not only the players, but Bobby Hurley getting his team back on track. Because, again, if you want to talk shit and give hate during these losses, and rightfully so, then I think you have to do the same thing when it comes to these wins, when it comes to getting double-digit victories over, you know, not necessarily the greatest USC team that we've ever seen, but they said it on the broadcast. They may not have scores, but they have athletes on that Trojans team, and you best believe they've got some good basketball players over at that program. So this team is fun when they're playing at their potential. Now, if you're able to continue this as you move throughout the rest of the season, then watch out. I do think this Arizona State team can be dangerous when they are playing to their potential. Frankie Collins having the evening in the afternoon that he did. Jose Perez from a scoring perspective. Jamiya Neal getting in on the action. Alonzo Gaffney even hitting some of his shots. And then all of this really happening without Adam Miller having a giant impact scoring on this one. Again, ASU with a big 82-67 victory over the Trojans. We'll get into the numbers here in just a second, but I've got something in terms of what this Arizona State team did to rally, right? Because there have been moments so far, whether it be through 2024 for ASU basketball or late into 2023, when you're talking about the Sun Devils and what this team is, right? In terms of adversity, in terms of this team giving up. Early on, it didn't look like a basketball team that was a team. It looked like a bunch of athletes that were all wearing maroon and gold, and they had a coach that was pushing them out there to just go play ball. And here you are, Saturday, January 20th, coming off of 2 losses in a row, 2 conference losses, a bad one against UCLA, and you're able to rally. You're able to get this team locked in and playing arguably its best game of the Pac-12 season, which says, again, a lot about where this team's at. There are going to be media. There are going to be opposing teams, coaches, whatever, pundits that talk about the fact that this ASU team may not have the resume when we get to March, right? They may not have the wins stacked up to actually be a tournament team. But when you point to victories like this, when you go watch the tape of what ASU did to USC today, it's a team, man, that when they're playing like this, you don't want to see. You do not want to see this ASU team. And again, something that they said on the broadcast, this was, I believe, the only team in the conference heading into the season that didn't have a Pac-12 all-conference preseason. They didn't have a player on the first team, second team, or honorable mention. And Frankie Collins today, and for the majority of this season, has played like a first-team guard, has played like one of the best guards in the entire Pac-12. The work that he puts in on the defensive side of the court is second to none on this team, and maybe second to none in the conference. You have a dude that's getting 4, 5, 6 steals a game and allowing Arizona State those extra opportunities, which, mind you, early on in conference play, late non-conference play, when this ASU offense wasn't doing what it's doing now, you needed those extra opportunities to find a way to spark some offense, to get those 5, 6 point dubs. But here you are now in conference play, and you have everybody hitting on all cylinders. You have Frankie Collins finding ways to score. You have Jamiya Neal contributing. You have Alonzo Gaffney doing what he needs to do. You have Adam Miller. You have Jose Perez. So when you talk about those extra opportunities, that's how you get 15-point victories in conference play, right? Double-digit victories in conference play, specifically in this conference, are hard to do, okay? Unless you are one of the top teams in the conference, which this year, there's 3 teams that you could argue that you could consistently see get double-digit victories, right? The Arizona Wildcats, the Oregon Ducks, and the Colorado Buffs. Now, Arizona State has had the opportunity to play Colorado, the only of the 3 teams that I just mentioned, and ASU beat Colorado. Now, if ASU does want to, I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves in terms of sniffing the tournament or locking in a top 4 seed when we're talking about the last Pac-12 tournament in Las Vegas. You're going to have to find a way to win those games against Oregon, against Arizona. And if you show up the way that ASU showed up this afternoon, I believe, man. It's crazy to say, and I don't think I've covered a team that has had this such drastic back and forth. The way that this team looked night 1 versus here we are again, January 20th, and it is night and day, the 2 teams that are out there on the court. If you throw out this ASU team against the ASU team that they had in game 1, this ASU team beats them by 30. This is the ASU team that, when we were toward the end of the football season and you were getting those, ASU basketball won this scrimmage by this many points. Jamiya had 35, right? Or ASU won a nail biter against a really good team in this scrimmage. Well, how'd they do that? Especially if you look at those first 3 games. Well, this is the team that showed up, and this is the team that Bobby Hurley is rolling with and riding with for the rest of the season. And watch out. Because when you go on runs in the first half to end a half the way that they did, especially at home, you get DFA rocking like that, watch out. That's scary. And then the second half, right? The response that ASU had, led by Frankie Collins, was masterful. It was incredible to see ASU eventually get out to an 11-point lead. USC would storm back to keep it within 5, and then ASU really stepped on the gas. Not just Frankie Collins, not just Jose Perez, but everybody got a taste. And ASU eventually led by 20, and at that point, it was over. USC didn't stand a chance. They weren't coming back, not because they couldn't score, but because they couldn't stop ASU. And that's crazy to talk about right now. Because, again, where were we a couple months ago with this ASU basketball team? And look at where we are at now. It's something that we had talked about early on in some of these post-game shows, is you just got to wait. You got to see what this team can do from a potential standpoint. When they are able to get it all together, that's the ASU basketball team that Bobby Hurley is hopefully going to have through the remainder of the season. But let's go ahead to By the numbers, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Of course, the only number that matters is that final score. Arizona State coming out on top, 82-67 over the Trojans. You look at the way these two teams shot from the floor this afternoon. USC slightly better than the Sun Devils, 46.6% to ASU's 42.9%. Now, shooting from behind the arc, Arizona State with a slight advantage over the Trojans, 30.8% to USC's 26.7%. And then the free throw numbers, 14 of 19 for the Sun Devils and 9 of 16 for the Trojans. And then this is the big one that we're going to get into, the turnovers. ASU turning it over just 9 times to USC's 22 turnovers. And again, there are a number of Sun Devils who contributed on the defensive end for Arizona State this afternoon. But, I mean, you can't talk about ASU's defense without Frankie Collins from a leadership perspective. Again, 6 steals this afternoon for Frankie Collins, 2 for Jamiya, 2 for Jose, 1 for Ace. And not only were the turnovers a massive, massive part of Arizona State's victory, but it's what they were able to do with points off of turnovers, right? At a certain point in this game, Arizona State had 24 points off turnovers, and that's eventually what they finished with. 24 points off of turnovers for Arizona State. When you are creating the amount of extra opportunities that this team is, and with the style of play that Bobby Hurley likes his teams to go with, which is, we're just going to outrun you. We're just going to run up and down this court until you're gassed. And when we see that you're gassed, when you see that this team is getting sloppy offensively, then you throw out the full court press. Then what? Then you see how this, Pac-12 opponent is going to respond. And USC, they didn't. They could not handle it. They didn't have the depth. They didn't have, some of their best players. They didn't have the veteran leadership to really turn this thing around. Again, they sniffed the comeback, but eventually Frankie Collins and company did what they've done all season long, specifically on the defensive end, and they put it away. They put the USC Trojans to bed. And for Frankie Collins, again, who we'll get into a little bit later, but he bullied everybody on USC. Every single person he bullied when he got the opportunity. And he did it from a number of ways, not just creating extra opportunities and dishing it out and facilitating offense, but finding ways to get to the basket himself. You could argue that this performance for Frankie Collins was better than the one that he had a few weeks ago where he was dropping, 20-something points? I'll take this performance over Frankie scoring nearly 30. I'll do it. Absolutely. And you can't convince me otherwise, because this is a Frankie Collins at his full potential when he understands his role as a point guard. And when he was able to do that this afternoon, you saw really the rest of the team thrive. So we will get into bottle service and heat index in just a second. But first, I want to tell you guys a little bit more about our friends over at Desert Financial Credit Union. They are the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University. And for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better, guys. And now is the time to show your ASU team spirit, especially for the Sun Devils. Sun Devils coming off a big 15-point victory. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started. They have it all for you over at Desert Financial Credit Union. And guys, when you're saving that money with Desert Financial, you're going to need to put it somewhere, right? You're going to need to maybe go make a little bit more of it, or you're just going to need to treat yourself. And the best place to treat yourself here in the Valley is at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, because nobody does it better than Gila River Resorts, guys. They offer an authentic and immersive experience with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you aren't going to find anywhere else in the desert. They haven't just set a high bar, okay? They have set the highest bar. Their state-of-the-art gaming floor has it all, with over 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables, and live table games, not to mention Arizona's largest casino sportsbook. Head to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and let them show you what next level is all about. And hey, don't take my word for it. Go check it out yourself, because they really do it better than anybody else here in Arizona. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. But hey, when you're at the casino and you got that extra money in your pocket, maybe it's time to pop a bottle or two. And when we're talking Arizona State, it is Frankie Collins who's popping bottles this afternoon. He is getting bottle service, 17 points, 7 boards, 6 steals, and my goodness, the MVP for Arizona State, not just this afternoon against USC, but realistically all season long. Again, 17 points off of 13 shots from the floor. He was 2 of 6 from 3, 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. He had 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and 6 steals. Plus minus this afternoon was 14. Played more minutes than anybody else for the Sun Devils. 38 for Arizona State. My goodness, has it been fun to watch Frankie Collins all season long deliver the kind of effort and performance that I think everybody thought he was capable of doing, right? Frankie Collins, for the majority of last season, it felt like he was just trying to figure it out. He was trying to see what type of basketball player he could be. And I think that's really the same thing for Bobby Hurley. So when you had the end of last season and you had Frankie Collins throw his name in the NBA draft just to see at the point, obviously removing it and returning to Arizona State, it was more so about what he could do. It was more so about Frankie Collins developing and reaching his full potential. And I said it once, I'll say it again. I'll take this performance. I'll take a 17.6 steal, 7 assist game from Frankie Collins before I'll take him scoring 30, because I don't think that's what this ASU team needs. This ASU team, you saw it this afternoon. They don't need Frankie Collins to go out there and score 30 points. He can do it, which is nice to see. And I'm sure NBA teams, if they ever give him a call, it's nice to know that he has that in his bag. But Frankie Collins, his bread and butter is delivering a ridiculous amount of effort defensively, creating those turnovers. And then on the opposite end, do I want to take it to the rim? Do I have Ace in the corner? Do I have Gaffney? Do I give it to Jose and let him play one-on-one in the paint? Maybe. But that's what Frankie Collins has allowed himself to do. He's allowed this team to have those opportunities, which isn't something that this team really had at the start of the year. And my goodness, it has been so damn fun to watch Frankie Collins play basketball here in 2023 and 2024 for Arizona State. And if you're a Sun Devil fan right now, just enjoy it. Enjoy Frankie Collins as a basketball player in maroon and gold while you can, because he's not going to be a Sun Devil forever, right? But to know that you have got this guy out there on the court, it's Remy Martin 2.0. That's what it is. That's what Frankie Collins is for Arizona State. And, he may never get that love. Frankie Collins may never get the love that Remy Martin got here in the Valley, because Remy was here at the very start of his career, and Frankie obviously transferred from Michigan. But Frankie Collins brings that same level of intensity. He brings that love of basketball. He brings the attitude that Bobby Hurley has. And you know what that is? It's the I hate to lose more than I love to win attitude. And that's what great athletes have. That's what great basketball, great football, great baseball, great athletes have, is that mentality of, winning is awesome. It's great. I want to win. But you know what is sweeter than winning is delivering a loss on the other side. And I think that's what makes Frankie Collins go. And defensively, right? That's where you get that effort, is you're not going to beat me. And Frankie Collins, Chris Cartman tweeted out, he was bullying Bronny James Jr. He was. Bronny James Jr., the son of LeBron James, didn't belong on the same court as Frankie Collins this afternoon. He didn't. Frankie Collins can go for 15 any given night. He's going to get his love. He's going to get his props. He's going to get his Sports Center top 10. But Frankie Collins is a better basketball player than Bronny James Jr. He is a better guard. He is just a better athlete, in my personal opinion, than Bronny James Jr. And that's no offense to Bronny James. I think Bronny is eventually going to be a great basketball player. He's probably league bound at a certain point. But right now, Frankie Collins bested him. And there's no doubt about it. You can't even make that argument if you're a USC Trojan fan or even if you're a Bronny James fan. He'll get there. But right now, Frankie Collins deserves all of the love in ASU's big win over the USC Trojans. But it wasn't just Frankie Collins that helped guide ASU past the Trojans. Let's go ahead, take a look at the first member of Heat Index, and we're going to start with a man named Bryant Selabunge. My goodness, have yourself an afternoon. Bryant Selabunge, 9 points, 9 offensive rebounds, 13 total rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 blocks for Arizona State. There's people that love the plus and minus stat, okay? And if you're one of those people, Bryant Selabunge had the highest plus minus of anybody on the floor for Arizona State this afternoon of 20. And, the 9 points are what they are. I love the fact that he was 5 of 6 from the charity stripe. That's huge for a team that, again, struck so badly from the charity stripe. Again, tonight or this afternoon, shooting 73%. Not fantastic, better than we've seen from them, at points this season. But those 9 offensive rebounds for Arizona State, they were so huge, right? You look at ASU having 13 second chance points in the win over USC. And you got to point to Bryant Selabunge, right? Because you want to talk about what this team has lacked all season long. And, you could talk about the offense because rightfully so, there have been moments where they've lacked offensive firepower. But another thing that they've lacked is height, right? Is the ability to go crash the glass. And this afternoon, Bryant Selabunge said, you know what? I'm going to be that guy. And he was. He was the difference maker for Arizona State this afternoon. Again, Frankie is going to get all the love, and rightfully so, for his performance. And so are the other guys that we're going to talk about. But Bryant Selabunge was a star out there for Arizona State. Going into this season, I think a lot of people expected Sean Phillips to really take that leap and be ASU's big man. Bryant Selabunge has earned it. Whether it be this performance or other games in conference play, Bryant Selabunge has proven himself to be ASU's big man. And yes, he's smaller than some of the other bigs that ASU has on the roster, but Bryant Selabunge finds ways to get it done. He's a dog. He is a dog, and that's what this team needs, okay? When you're watching ASU go on 8-0 runs to start the second half, it's not just Frankie Collins, okay? It's Jamiya Neal. It's Jose Perez. It's Bryant Selabunge, okay? Whether it is Frankie scoring all 8 at once, okay? It took everybody on that team. It took everybody at DFA to get this team in that space to where they could thrive. And for Arizona State to have a guy like Bryant Selabunge, who early on in the season was coming off the bench, find ways to get 9 points, 13 boards. Again, 9 of those being offensive rebounds, a place where ASU was always losing rebound numbers throughout non-conference play and early on in conference play. It's massive, and the importance of what Bryant Selabunge brought in this win for ASU can't be understated. And again, it's something that I think when you watch ASU basketball and you're leaving DFA, everybody's going to want to talk about Frankie Collins and the guards. And again, he's going to get his love, and rightfully so. But a guy like Bryant Selabunge deserves some love as well. But Bryant Selabunge, not the only member of the Heat Index. Moving on to the second member of the Heat Index, Jose Perez. Take a bow. Jose doing what he's done all season long. 20 points, 4 boards, and guys, 4 assists as well. But the big thing for me when it comes to Jose Perez is the fact that he shot 50% from the field this afternoon. Okay, throw in 2 steals as well. He's so damn efficient. And, there are people that watch Jose Perez play basketball. And I don't think enough people appreciate the type of player that Jose Perez is. And I think Jose knows it. I think Jose knows the type of basketball player that he is. Okay, he's not going to run up and down the court offensively and be some crazy star athlete. I think he's got his signature moves when it comes to the paint and his little mid-range shot. And then the thing I love about Jose is anytime he hits that mid-range, it's just that back pedal on the way back. It's one of the most unathletic back pedals that I've ever seen, man. But it's something that you get from a veteran basketball player like Jose Perez that I think this team needs. And you saw it against UCLA, and you wish you would have saw it maybe a little bit more, when ASU was dealing with the off the court stuff, right? With the texts, with the Bobby Hurley issues. Bobby got a tech tonight. And you know who was the first person holding Bobby Hurley back, trying to cool him off? It was Jose Perez. And it's that veteran mindset, a dude that's played in college basketball for some time now, that understands it, that gets it, okay? That understands that, yes, there is a moment in a game that can have an immediate giant impact on what goes on. But you got to play 2 full halves. And Jose Perez gets that in his offense. The more that I've seen it throughout the season, the more you got to respect it that, sometimes he is playing one-on-one basketball. But if he continues to win and drop 20, do you really care? Do you really care if Jose's sitting in the mid-range doing what he does? I don't think so. I'll take it at this point. If you're shooting 50% from the field and dropping 20, no one's complaining about it. And Jose Perez, get this, the last addition to this roster. Can you imagine ASU basketball this season without Jose Perez? Because I can't. But there was a moment when Jose Perez wasn't on this team. Okay? You look at the journey for Arizona State basketball, Jose Perez, Ace Wolf, all these guys, right? And you are where you're at here, right? January 20th, a big win over USC. It's awesome. But it's funny to see how the story has unfolded for the Sun Devils, right? Because early on, it was, is Ace Wolf going to play? Is Adam Miller going to get his waiver cleared? And he didn't. He didn't, right? At the start of the season, he didn't. You were waiting on it, waiting. And because he had to wait, because there was no surefire answer, Bobby Hurley had to add another guy from the portal. And that guy is Jose Perez. And now, again, January 20th, mark your calendars, a big date. Now you've got them all. Now you got them all on the court, and they're learning how to play as a team. And this is the ASU basketball team that everybody heard about preseason, that everybody thought they were going to get. And it's here. And enjoy it. And enjoy the fact that Jose Perez is going out there on a nightly basis doing what he does. But it wasn't just Celebunge. It wasn't just Jose Perez. The final member of the Heat Index this afternoon, Jamiya Neal. Take about yourself. Jamiya Neal, again, 17 points, 8 of 14 from the field, 9 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Earlier, I brought up Celebunge having the highest plus-minus on the team for Arizona State. Jamiya Neal not far behind with a 17. Jamiya Neal, it's been, again, you want to talk about the journey of Arizona State and what they've been this season. I think the growth of Jamiya Neal has been one of the more fun parts to watch. And you saw it in this game, right? When Frankie leaves, this offense needs somebody. This offense needs somebody to step into that leadership role. And Jose Perez does it from a scoring perspective. Ace Wolf does it from a scoring perspective, but they need somebody to be the leader, to be the dog, to be the guy. Jamiya Neal, when Frankie hits the bench, he's that guy. He's one of the best rebounding guards in the conference. Again, in my personal opinion, the numbers back that up. But to see him finally start to score has been absolutely amazing. And I think it really did take other guys stepping up from an offensive perspective to eliminate some of the pressure that Jamiya Neal was feeling early on in the season. And that's why you're getting performances like the one you got this afternoon in the 15-point victory where Jamiya has 17 by himself. Again, we gave so much credit, and I say I gave so much credit to Jose Perez shooting 50% from the floor. Jamiya Neal was better. 8 of 14. When you're getting these guys to be efficient like this, it's a recipe that there's a lot of teams that simply, they're not going to be able to hang with a squad that rolls out this many quality players that are unselfish. Frankie Collins, unselfish. Jamiya Neal, unselfish. Jose Perez, unselfish. Adam Miller, unselfish. And again, they won by 15 tonight, and Adam Miller didn't do a whole lot. And you could argue he's one of their better scorers, if not the best scorer on this team. What can they do when he goes off too? Right? That's the what if. But Jamiya Neal deserves a lot of love, not only from what he did this afternoon, but really the growth that we've seen from Jamiya over the last handful of games. It's been something that's been awesome to see. So again, one last time for the Heat Index, Bryant Celebunge, Jamiya Neal, and Jose Perez all getting some love in ASU's big win over the USC Trojans. Guys, we're going to get to the Bobby board here in just a little bit. But like I said earlier, if you're new here, hit that like button, leave a 5-star review. Let us know what you enjoy about this podcast. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications for any time any of us here at PHNX go live. It's not just the PHNX Sun Devil show. We got the Coyotes, the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, the Suns. They're going live all week long, 5 days a week for everybody, on top of the fact that we've got exclusive content for some of our PHNX diehards. I'm pretty sure we have Sharon in the chat. She is a PHNX diehard, and Chris was here earlier. If you don't take my word for it, take theirs. Head over to gophnx.com today. Sign up to become a diehard. You're going to get access to that diehard Discord, merch deals. You're going to get deals on events, exclusive content, and so much more. Again, if you don't believe me, take it from some of the diehards that we do have in the chat. We're going to continue talking about ASU basketball here in a second. First, I want to tell you about how you can make some money, and you're going to do it over on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Maybe you took advantage of the line for Arizona State and you made some money on the Sun Devils, or maybe you're betting on the NFL playoffs. I know that's what I'm doing. And if you haven't yet, again, do it on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. If you haven't signed up, they've got a great deal for you that you can still take advantage of. Just download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $5 into your newly created account and place a wager in the amount of at least $5 at standard odds price. And once you have placed a bet, you're going to receive $158 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your wager. Just to recap, sign up for BetMGM and use that bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $5, and you guys are going to receive $158 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details, and now listen to Damon talk about the disclaimer.
5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP-Arizona, 1-800-BETS-OFF-Iowa, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan, 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico, in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love BetMGM. I also love Circle K. Look, when I'm in studios, I'm telling you guys that I go to Circle K twice a day, and that's for real. I'm at the gas station at all times. Okay, whether it be for gas, whether it be for all of the great snacks and stuff that they have over there. But they do have a new free membership program that's going to help you guys save money every single day. I'm talking about their app, Inner Circle. You guys can save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. And if that's not enough, they're going to help you save money every single day after that. Save 3 cents per gallon every day. Get every 6th free on a selection of Circle K products. We're talking pizza, coffee, ice cold fountain drinks, not to mention the great deals that they have on energy drinks, sports drinks. They have it all over at Circle K. And if you don't take my word for it, just check out the app for yourself. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the Bobby board and see what we've got cooking for Arizona State. Nice to see the Sun Devils get back on track with a win over USC. Now, this row, not looking too bad. Not looking too bad, okay? You got the win over Utah. You got the win over Colorado. Yeah, it sucks to see the Washington and UCLA ones grayed out. We didn't get any additional Bobby faces. We know the UCLA game, how that one ended up going, but massive for the Sun Devils to get that win over USC. And you look at what's ahead here on the Bobby board. You round it out with Oregon, this row. Then you got Oregon State, Stanford, and Cal. Now, if you're the Sun Devils and if you're an ASU fan looking too far ahead, which a lot of fans do, okay, myself included, and you're wondering how Arizona State can get into the NCAA tournament, you're wondering where they're going to be on Selection Sunday. Right now, they are nowhere near, okay? I'm going to be completely honest with you. Right now, the Sun Devils are nowhere near the NCAA tournament. A lot of that stems from the bad losses, right? That San Diego loss is still hurting, not to mention that UCLA team is a bad one, okay? And that loss that they suffered before this USC win is going to sting, and it's going to sting for a while unless Arizona State can find a way in their next game to beat Oregon. And when you look at what the Sun Devils have left, 2 games against the Arizona Wildcats, you are going to need to steal one. You are going to need to steal a win over the Arizona Wildcats if you even want to have a chance at the NCAA tournament. What's looking more likely, though, right now, if you're an ASU fan wondering how the Sun Devils can get to the tournament, and it would be sweet, but you're going to probably need to find a way to win the Pac-12 tournament and get that auto bid to the NCAA tournament, because right now, just based off of the conference eating itself alive, it doesn't look like there's going to be too many Pac-12 teams that do get to the NCAA tournament. The Arizona Wildcats should be there. The Oregon Ducks, they could be there, but Oregon just had their first conference loss of the season to Colorado the other day. We know ASU beat Colorado. So when you're looking at some of these games, obviously Oregon, Oregon State, Stanford, Cal, how are those must-win games? Well, they're not must-win games for ASU's NCAA tournament chances. They're must-win games for ASU when we're talking about the Pac-12 wanting to get a first-round bye, wanting to get a 1-4 seed and not have to play that first day in Las Vegas is going to be huge again for an ASU team that runs the way they do, the style of play that these guys like to play with, and really the way Bobby Hurley likes to function. It would be huge for Arizona State to, at a certain point in the year, solidify their spot as a 1-4 seed, probably looking more like a 3 or 4 seed, given, again, the Arizona Wildcats and the Oregon Ducks, not to mention Colorado also being a really solid team as well. But as it stands right now, again, January 20th, I've said it multiple times because I do feel like this game, specifically in this date, are going to be huge, really for Sun Devil fans to remember as we move through the rest of the season when ASU got that 15-point victory over the USC Trojans, and you are wondering where the Sun Devils can be at here in just a few short weeks, because this remainder of the Pac-12 season is going to fly by, and before you know it, it is going to be time for that Pac-12 tournament. Arizona State has yet to win that. Never won the Pac-12 tournament, and I think it would be super, super sweet for a team in ASU that does have a couple bad losses, for a team that, has had a wild journey up to this point, to get a 1-4 seed and get a bye, and then find a way to go out there and win the Pac-12 tournament, because realistically, that is where you are looking this team to be when we're talking about the NCAA tournament, because unless they're able to steal both against the Wildcats and beat Oregon and beat up on Colorado again, I really don't see a way for this team to get into the NCAA tournament without making some serious noise in the Pac-12. But hey, we will see, obviously, what transpires down the line for Arizona State, Frankie Collins and company. But guys, again, hit that like button. And Jacob, I know it's midday, but it might be an early one. It might be an early one for the bar. It is time for closing. Get through our technical. And I'm talking about Frankie Collins. Frankie Collins does it all for the Sun Devils night in, night out. 17 points, 7 assists. He has been the MVP, not just of the season. And part of that gets to our next takeaway. Defense, 24 points off of turnovers for Arizona State this afternoon. If Arizona State continues to play the defense that we saw this afternoon against USC, then watch out. This is a team you don't want to see when you get to the Pac-12 tournament if you're playing defense like this. And finally, run it. What do I mean by run it? I mean run the table if you can, because that's the way ASU is going to find themselves in a powerful position, not just in the Pac-12 tournament, but when we hit Selection Sunday, the Sun Devils can have some sort of a name. Now, realistically, okay, as we get out of here, running the table is not necessarily a realistic thing to do, but running it in a way that can get you into an advantageous position come March will be huge for the Sun Devils. But guys, that is going to do it for the PHNX Sun Devils show. On the way out, do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the content and if you enjoy the Sun Devils, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri, and you can follow producer DJ Jacob Franklin at Jacob_Franklin4. Guys, we will be back in action on Monday. But in the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.